I was too mean about everything. I feel bad. You're looking at me with this look like, Marie. It's so funny because you're so calm and you can tell that you're like a professor and that I am definitely not. And I just like spew my emotion. And I'm a very emotional person. And Rob's more like, okay, he's like the studious one. And yeah, you can tell right now, right here.
Let's continue and see if we have other points you can get mad at.
I love getting mad about stuff. This is so fun. Emergency alert. National public. Okay, you know what? Get out of here. They're sending an emergency alert because they're going to be like, guess what? Avian flu's here. You have to stay in your house. You can't see your loved ones. Avian flu. Be afraid of birds. Go get this injected in you.
Yeah. You notice that everything is a cataclysm now?
What do you mean by cataclysm?
Well, before we had winter storms. Now we have
Oh yeah,
polar vortexes.
yeah. Oh my God, yes.
It's a storm.
I have no. Everything's a catastrophe and a disaster.
Yeah, it's like, oh, there's going to be a cold. It's a winter storm's coming. The polar vortex. What does that
Yeah.
mean? And you get alerts, and it's basically talking heads in the media always telling you you're going to die.
Yep.
And habituating the population to be terrified and obey them, like believe them.
Yes.
Oh, you say there's a polar vortex which didn't exist when we grew up. Oh, now there is. Every 15 years there are new killer bees. There's killer bees when I was in elementary, and then murder hornets now, and they're just like,
yeah, yeah, I know.
Like serial killer bumblebees who actually take names. Like, what's it gonna be eventually?
They leave their calling card. It's like their stinger comes out, and that's their calling card. It's
yeah,
like,
it's like
oh,
they throw like these wasps. Like, it seems deliberate. It's deliberate for
yes.
two reasons.
Mm-hmm.
The first is just profit. Get people scared, get people attached to the people who peddle fear, make money, sell advertisement. That's number one. And then the second layer is, and this is where you can accuse some of being conspiratorial or whatever, but the second layer is control. Oh. It's easy to control a fearful populace.
Mm-hmm. You have to hold government daddy's hand and help us. What's next, government daddy?
Yeah. Help me, daddy. And then it becomes a weird kind of masochistic perversion where you want to be helped and you like to feel weak.
You want to, you want to feel like a victim, like you're victimizing. You want to feel victimized and that you're suffering because,
yeah. So that's related to what we're going to talk about, actually.
Is it actually?
It could. We can relate anything to anything if you want.
Well, I think that when you feel victimized and people are saying that, or people or the government ever saying that they're helping you, it makes you feel important. But it's like you don't understand that the government's making you feel victimized, and then they're claiming that they're helping you. Just like when they put all this stuff in food and all this stuff and it's making you sick, and then they're like, "But we have a pill for that. We'll help you. We'll help you." But it's like it's their fault. They did it to you.
It's when the solution demands another solution, you double your profits.
Oh yeah.
Put it this way: if you don't think that's happening, it should happen because that would be smart. Like that would be a good idea if you're in the big business realm to provide a solution to the problem, and then you need to have a solution to your solution because it caused another problem. That's smart. That's good.
Yeah. From movies to video games, welcome to Marie Plays It All. This is an episode of Relatively Geeking where my brother Rob and I geek out about the good times, and we haven't geeked out about the good times in a long time. We're geeking out about weird times and different times. And in this episode, again, I have no idea what Rob's showing me. He's just like, I got to show you this video and we have to react to this video. And I said, okay. So I have no idea what I'm about to watch at all. Do you want to jump into Rob, or do you want to?
Yeah, no, I'm not going to say anything. I want you to see this.
All right. Here we go. Let me just see here.
Want to escape and do something fun? Move your conscience somewhere else to avoid daily responsibilities like chores and going to the doctors. Well, according to this internet trend, reality shifting, you can. No need to request paid time off or let your supervisor know. Just use your brain to think at any point in time, and it'll happen at your own leisure. This genre of activity is just Sword Art Online. Say no thanks to real life and go live in an online fantasy world with an anime waifu.
What's going on here?
It's like they're saying people are discovering they could use their imagination. What? Why is this news? Like they're like people are like, oh, I disassociated for a minute and went into my imagination and thought of different things. Is that what's
That's the
happening?
point. Yes.
Okay,
Why? That's why it's so weird to grasp at the beginning, like what's this video about? This generation has discovered that you can at any time think about something and go there and imagine that you're there.
I don't understand. I do this all day every day. What do you mean people are discovering?
Well, it seems like this is, I mean, 2023 was a trend, but it's also continually a trend that you can say, here's what I do. You're in a lineup at a grocery store
Yeah.
and you can sort of sit back, kind of tune out, and imagine that you're somewhere else or doing something else or something.
Doesn't every human being in existence already do this and have done this since the beginning of time?
No, there's two things right there. First, there is I don't know if you want to call it a condition, but there are some people,
Who don't have
right?
an
Because
interior voice, they don't have a voice in their head or something.
yeah, there's not an interior voice, or they don't really picture things. So if I say
Ah,
picture an apple, you can't picture the apple. It's like a vague outline or just the word, but you don't have an associated image. Now,
okay.
now that I sometimes wonder if it's not as clear as reality. Is that what people mean? But apparently that's a phenomenon. But the second is that it seems like some people, this generation is discovering that there's such thing as an imagination.
Okay.
It gets deeper.
This topic would need the same runtime as a feature film because there's so much to yap about. As you can see, we're not doing that today. This is a surface level overview as someone who got curious after seeing it pop up on my feed.
So, reality shifting. This is the name for what is happening. And it's unclear whether it's simply daydreaming or dreaming when you're asleep, or is it something more? It's hard to know.
I think I know what it is, but whatever, it's fine. I'll
Okay.
tell you after.
Okay.
So much information floating around with no credible or tangible sources other than people's own experiences. It's hard to verify things when the sources are literally, just trust me bro. The more I tried to research and actually understand, the more confused I became. It really felt like I was back in school, trying to
Just like
survive
you,
with
Marie.
one brain cell. You know that feeling, after reading the same paragraph in the organic chem textbook for the 100th time, and still not understanding. No one wants to be the
Okay.
person that asks the
I
teacher.
got to say something here. The thing about that reading a textbook 100 times and not getting the paragraph, you have to keep in mind that textbooks are often garbage. So all of you out there who are reading a textbook and can't understand maybe what this means and you're getting frustrated, sometimes it's not your fault.
No, I think it's because you don't care. If I don't care about what I'm reading, then I have that where I'm like, like I'm reading it. I'm like, it doesn't compute, like, because I don't give a crap. But if I have books upstairs, I will be fully immersed in a book and read it an entire day if I'm interested in it and if it
Okay,
captivates me. But if it's something I don't care about, then I just won't. I can't. I'll.
No, I'm gonna go off. Now listen.
Okay.
There are two things here. First of all, still in some cases, the textbook just does not make sense. And so you're reading it over and over, and what I'm trying to say is it's not your fault.
Yeah.
What you just said, listen, you gotta think about it this way. Many things you read in life won't be interesting, but you have to do it. And you don't know whether or not it could become interesting. Like you may find out you love reading this stuff and learning about it once you get over that initial, this is boring, I don't understand it hump. And like I said, it's, life's short. There's a gamble here. You got to think about whether or not you don't think it's interesting, but giving it some attempt, you might find it out it's interesting. It's even with a movie. You can find a movie genre you're like, I'm not interested in. I don't like horror. I don't even want to watch it. But then you watch maybe a couple horror movies with someone who loves horror, and they're like, yeah, I can see. Yeah. So like, I'm not a big horror buff, but after watching movies with you and thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, this genre is more interesting to me. And what did I do? I opened up a whole new avenue of things I could think about and indulge in. So I'm not disagreeing with you that just because something's not interesting, you don't have to force yourself to be interested. But perhaps give it a chance.
I'm also thinking too that different people's brains process things differently. Like me, I'm all about words, word puzzles, like anything to do with like letters and words. I'm like really good at. Numbers, I don't even know. I have no idea. I'll look at numbers. I'm like, okay, like it doesn't compute the same. So I guess there could be other things too, like say, maybe I can't read this paragraph over, it's not registering when I read it, but if you like listen to it on tape or something, if you listen to it like an audio of it, then maybe it will register in your brain better that way because everyone processes things differently. But this that we're watching right now, I feel is something else.
Oh yeah, no, it is something else, but it's related to the fact, like, do you tune out? What do you do when you encounter something that is mentally or even emotionally you don't want to deal with it? What do you do? There's multiple avenues. I'm just saying, it's just a
Mhm.
question you have to ask yourself. Tuning out's not necessarily bad. In fact, I'll say that, and I'll show you a clip that Lord J.R. Tolkien thinks that you should tune out in a way. It's actually
Sometimes.
noble.
Yeah. Oh.
It's very context dependent. But yes, let us progress.
Reality shifting for two people might be completely different experiences. It's like colors, people will see the same shade differently. I did try my best to understand. If you're a part of this community, I respect your choices, but as shifters, you gotta admit, some of these claims are wild. So we're just having a respectful giggle today.
Mario! Yahoo!
The main belief is that there are multiple realities of yourself based on the choices you make. You choose to go to work in this reality, somewhere else you're putting on a performance of a lifetime and calling in sick. Since there's so many choices we can make, there's basically infinite realities with slight variations. Damn, infinite bro? That is too many. How are we not supposed to have FOMO when another version of me is in Korea getting the scoop on what the hell is happening in the Hive building right now?
There's a phenomenon. The phenomenon is called the tyranny of choice. The tyranny of choice is when you have too many choices, you become paralyzed.
Yeah, I feel like that a lot.
Oh yeah, like what? Do you have an example?
Oh, I feel like that if I just have, I'm like, oh, I gotta edit, but I gotta do this at home. I gotta do this, gotta get this, and I just go, and I think it's like attention deficit disorder. Everything has a label, okay, and now they're labeling something as reality shifting. Ugh. And it's like, it's not, you're not. This is just made to make people viral on TikTok and YouTube. This is not they're just putting a label on it. It's like, well, I caught someone shifting. Why? Because you're like, it's me, Mario. And then I didn't just reality shift, guys. Like,
well,
in my mind, I was Mario punching that coin, and I was jumping it, and I'm running the track, and I need to go save my princess. I love her so much. I'm there. I can see it. I can feel it. I'm not shifting realities.
what is reality? I'll get to that in a moment.
When you shift, you can transfer your consciousness from your CR, current reality, to your DR, desired reality. Okay, with you there so far. Explaining this to your average default setting coworker at TJ Maxx who only uses Facebook for the minion memes, they would probably think, there's no way people would believe this, right? It almost sounds too good to be true, hopping around different parallel universes on a whim. Well, when there's millions of searches on TikTok about shifting, and YouTube tutorials with even more views, this community is quite active around these parts. It's not surprising reality shifting
because
really
people are getting
blew out
money
in the
and
years we
getting
were
clicks
forced to
and
stay
getting.
inside during a time.
Well, wait, no, here, okay. The question is,
I'm the cynical one, not you.
Well, how much
I'm the
of this?
cynical one. Mhm.
How much of this is simply a product, meaning like
Mhm.
a show for thing for clicks, and how much of it is a genuine rediscovery, maybe with some exaggeration, of simply using your imagination?
Reality shifting is just the polar vortex of I guess social media trends now.
Well, it could be. I mean, in reality, this could be something that we look at it and go, "Oh yeah, this is something we've been doing forever." It's basically zoning out. It's imagining what other kind of life you could live.
Mhm.
It's disengaging with your current reality to think about this desired reality.
Disassociating, yeah.
And it seems to me there is a genuine sense that this is a phenomenon that people are discovering and that it's something to think about. And it's not simply a label or here's why. Here's why. I've seen this before. Think about growing up where you have external stimulation at every moment.
Mm-hmm.
So you got your screens, right? You got then you
Mm-hmm.
can turn to the phone. You got these imaginary worlds in video games. So you have escapism. You have distraction from external sources whenever you want.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't.
Mm-hmm.
We were in situations like half our life where there was no recourse to some other external world impinging on our minds.
So I guess that the what is it, Gen Z or Gen Z kids out there, they're just learning that you can do that without like like a phone or a screen. You can do that with your own mind, and that your imagination is something, and it's not your reality shifting. It is actually your own reality, and it's not shifting. It's something that you always have had, but they're just learning to tap into it now. Like it's a crazy phenomenon when it's not a phenomenon. I think it's human nature, but because they feel they've been stunted and they can't access their imagination without a screen. Now they're like, whoa, what's this? I can think about things. It's not a
Yeah, that's what I think.
phenomenon.
Well, and the thing is, it might, of course, it's probably exaggerated, especially online. You get your clicks and
Yeah.
all that. It's probably exaggerated, but I actually do think that this is something that seems to be unique or new to people, where it's not just zoning out, like you're just not paying attention, nor is it external stimulation through, say, some sort of screen or video game. It's actually a awareness that there is a creative aspect to the imagination when you tune out or sort of dissociate, as you say, from external reality.
You cannot tell me that people aren't laying in bed going to sleep thinking of other things and imagining other scenarios. They're not on their phone at that time. You can't tell me that from the beginning of their birth that they haven't done that once. They have. This is a trend online. That's what it is.
You think
That's
it's
all.
an insincere trend?
I think yes. I think it's an insincere trend. Absolutely, especially if you're, especially if it's creating a division between you who can reality shift because you're special to other people who are basic NPCs. Now you're calling them, and because they go on Facebook and look at different type of things, oh, they have no imagination. I guess this person, but even though they probably are the ones imagining and disassociating and reality shifting more than you are because you're on your phone all the time.
Well, let's continue and see if we have other points you can get mad at.
I love getting mad about stuff.
The majority of the shifting demographic tends to be on the younger side, mostly teens and tweens. Other than our boring normal realities of choosing bacon or sausage for breakfast, you're also able to visit fictional realities. This is one of the most popular realities among shifters. The Wizarding World of Harry Potter needs its own section in the reality shifting lore. It does get quite intense when people start spending way too much time in their desired realities. And not just a few days, but months.
Welcome our ship of 8 months at Hogwarts. Yeah, I'm sure you did. Sure you did. I was at Hogwarts for 8 months. Okay, so yeah, it's a trend. They're all picking the same place to shift. Where's the people who are like, I was just on Tatooine?
Well, that's, I don't know, look it up. But I mean, I'm
No,
sure
it's
there's Star
Hogwarts
Wars
because it's a
shifting.
trend. Star Wars shifting, Rob. You can't possibly be into this.
No, no, I'm not saying I'm into, well, hold on. There's something, this isn't just daydreaming.
Oh, okay.
This is interactive world building in the imagination.
Okay.
The 8 months, whatever. The funny thing is, this is kind of what you did when you were like 10. Like I used to imagine
Mm.
what kind of Power Ranger I would be.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd go on adventures in my imagination as with my Raptor Zords, and I had two of them, and I was kind of orange. And yeah. And I talked a lot to Kimberly. And
Talked a lot.
so this is a turning to your imagination to role play in an interactive world, one that you particularly like, which was for them the Harry Potter world.
you're saying that these people are maybe stuck in the mindset of a 10-year-old, that they're just discovering that they can do what 10-year-olds do. So these people
No,
who have spent 8 months in their mind in Hogwarts, they never played when they were kids. They never played anything like Doctor House. They never were like, oh, we're gonna go outside and like play with Doctor House.
a
We're gonna Doctor
doctor.
House. Doctor House. Like, they're not going to go outside and
No,
like
it's just,
sword fight with sticks. They're not going to go outside and like go on their bike and pretend that they're not on their bike. They're actually on a horse or something. They're going to be in a pool and pretend you're a mermaid. What girl out there has been in a pool or a body of water and not pretended they were a freaking mermaid? You're telling me this is brand new? You've never done
no,
that?
no. I think okay. First of all, yes, you do this when you're 10. You do this when you're younger, but this is how Lord of the Rings was made, which was that you had a man beginning in about his 20s. I mean, he did this, of course, when he was younger, but Tolkien was building over years and years and years a coherent world.
Right.
And what reality shifters are doing are entering a pre-built, prefabricated world.
Yes.
And it seems like this is something that needed to be said to them, something that was actually kind
Mhm.
of surprising, that you could enter your imagination and interact with imaginary beings as if it was another dimension.
No, what everyone needs nowadays is a label on everything and to be able to call themselves something. Everyone
So,
needs a label, and everyone's like, no, you know what I am, guys? I'm a reality shifter. So it's like
okay,
they finally have but the most simplest thing that people can do is they have their imagination. But how are we supposed to share our imagination with other people unless, okay, if we don't have like a talent, say, oh, I can't paint what I see in my imagination. I can't write. I'm making movies. I'm not doing that. So how am I supposed to tell the world to get attention for what my imagination is saying? I know. Let's create a label called reality shifters. And then we're
okay.
going to start a trend. And then we'll say, oh, guess what, guys? I spent time in Hogwarts. I'm a reality shifter. This is what my imagination says. Isn't that cool?
I'm
And now
saying
there's a
that
group.
I,
It's not a new phenomenon.
I'm not saying it's a new phenomenon. I'm saying it's
They
one
are.
that seems to actually be new to people
It's
today.
not. It's bullshit. It's
So you
not
think,
new
okay,
to them. It's not new to them. It's impossible for it to be new to them. Now there's just a label to put on it to get trending on social media.
I think
Oh
that
man, I
right, you're getting mad. Okay, right. Well, let's see if you change. I'm not even defend. Okay,
it's so funny because you're so calm and you can tell that you're like a professor and that I am definitely not. And I just like spew my emotion, and I'm a very emotional person, and Rob's more like, okay, he's like the studious one. And yeah, you can tell right now, right here. This is so fun. Play
I
Dungeons
have
and
so many
Dragons.
questions. What happens to your physical body when you shift? You can't just isekai yourself away for a year and then come back like nothing happened. I get this practice is supposed to be like, wow, that's so amazing. How does this even exist? But come on, we gotta have some practical rules here. You might be the main character in your life, but what's stopping another you from another reality from jacking into your consciousness? Don't you worry. When you shift, you essentially create a clone of yourself that still does the same daily activities. So it's like you never left. Okay, well, that's good, I guess, because this is what I imagine people actively shifting look like.
Day one of attempting to shift to Hogwarts.
Oh my god, this is everything
This
that's wrong with the world.
it's got to be a joke.
This is acting.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna be late for my class. I'm gonna be late for my class. Good evening, Dumbledore. Good evening, Dumbledore. Dobby. Chill. Dobby. Oh.
See, the problem is if you reality shifted, you wouldn't have this kind of, I think, physical.
No.
Dobby.
Does he need
The
help?
tongue, that was so funny.
You're a free elf now.
It's joking.
It's funny and it's a joke, but it's people that are taking it seriously, Rob. This is why
Are you
it's
sure?
yes, I'm
Okay, all
sure.
right. Wow. Okay, you're like, you just looked at me like I was the biggest. Okay.
I believe this is a parody, but I'm only like 60% sure. I feel like there's a lot of plot holes within this lore. What if life throws you a curveball and your schedule gets messed up? How does your clone know what to do when you wake up one day and you realize your mom sold you off to one direction? Chances are low, but it's never zero. There'd be so many unexplained absences in school. Kids would be shifting all day and writing scripts, which are basically journals of what you want to happen in your desired reality. It's
told
pretty
you.
similar to writing your name fanfiction, where you're the main character. Although shifting is unpredictable and you can't always control where you end up.
Okay, so this kind of shifting that they're talking about like has a whole metaphysics behind it, which I think is just, this is where the marketing stuff probably comes in. When they start talking about you're shifting, you can plop into some other world. You have to make sure that your own body's not taken over by another shifting clone of yourself. That's too far. That is
Is
basically,
it? Is it? Oh, is it too far?
that's the 1990s version of the astral plane.
It was, yeah, but it was meditation. This is yeah, but that took like, you had to practice and it took years, and it was
It
like,
did.
like
Yeah.
it was something that, I mean, astral planing would be awesome. Okay. Like if astral planing is a freaking thing, that's cool. Okay. I'm not saying that maybe doesn't exist. I hope it does, because that'd be awesome in like sci-fi. But this, what they're talking about is like, hey, did you know that you can make choices? Get your other part of your other clone of you to come into your body and make different choices. Did you know that there's like different timelines and like different, and did you know that you can meditate? It's meditation, it's dreaming, it's daydreaming, it's you have choices in life that could lead you in different things. It's like, duh. It's not a clone of you. You have the ability and the capability to make changes in your life. It's not your clone. Stop thinking that you're like this not a whole being. You're like, it's like you are enough. Okay, you are a whole being and you can live in reality. All right, you don't need. Oh my God.
Ihab Yusuf, a licensed clinical psychologist in San Francisco, says that because shifting
San
lacks
Francisco.
any scientific evidence to prove that it's a standalone concept, it's more akin to a form of immersive daydreaming or lucid dreaming. According to Ellie Summer, a clinical psychologist and pioneer researcher of maladaptive dreaming, who coined the term immersive daydreaming, is the ability to engage in elaborate and euphoric fantasy worlds for relaxation and entertainment purposes. Lucid dreaming, on the other hand, occurs when someone is asleep but is able to recognize that they're dreaming. Those who claim to have shifted before, however, disagree. Tumblr creator Lay claims that, sorry Tumblr users, even though I used to be like you, I'm gonna have to go with the medical professional's opinion on this one. I think reality shifting is just pre-planned daydreaming that's been labeled as something that it's not. A rebrand, if you will. I've spent lots of time imagining myself in fantasy scenarios, countless of times. Didn't have social media and internet to post about it, but I'm pretty sure I've experienced this too. It's not as intense as people make it out to be. All these grand claims on
I am not disagreeing with you that this is a phenomenon that has always existed. What I am saying is that I think that some people genuinely are discovering that they can enter and use the imagination. You think it's disingenuous?
Oh yeah.
I don't know, man. You would be surprised how many people I meet that
I mean,
when external stimulation stops, there's nothing there. Where it's like, okay, now that things have quieted down, now that the screens are off, what happens? And it's crickets.
being able to live in a fantasy world is just setting up unrealistic expectations for kids that don't know any better. People are spending years attempting to shift, and they're getting demotivated and even sad because they haven't experienced these cool sounding shifts that everyone else is having online. Many shifters have posted their own methods online of how to properly shift, and all you need to do is listen to this 8-hour long YouTube video at night. There's quite a bit of crossover with meditation tips and practices that encourage lucid dreaming. This trend is giving young impressionable kids a false belief that this is something that it's not, and you can't deny it's a popular topic that
That's
gets a lot
true.
of views and engagement. It's a little scary not knowing the background of the person you're getting your information from. Is this 100-step shifting tutorial from someone with a fully developed frontal lobe who can show proof they shifted realities? It's kind of hard to take you seriously when your video is half K-pop fan cam.
This extreme version of reality shifting where you think you're going to go into another realm with perfect vivacity as real life, and the characters there and the events happening are completely beyond your control and seem real, and that you're going to carry out your daily activities in order to survive in this reality. That is like the witchcraft astral plane stuff. Like that is not true. That is the non-real part. But what it does show really interesting, if I'm right, is think about this, is that there's a fragmentation. On the one hand, it seems like the idea of an imaginary world that's very vivid and thrilling and interesting is new to some people. And on the other hand, there's a attempt to want to escape the daily drudgeries of life, even though for many people, life isn't as hard as for many other people. And so you got this double dissatisfaction. You can't be happy in this escapist realm, and you can't be happy in the real realm. And so now what you're doing, and especially if you're impressionable, you're wondering what's wrong with you.
But we're taught that there's something wrong with you if you don't do this, if you can't do that. Especially social media says there's everything wrong with you. If you're not like this, then there's something wrong with you.
So imagine growing up in a world where you are anxious, you're always being surveilled. You're told that there's all these choices when the economy is failing and you know there's no hope. And there's nothing really directing you. And so life seems boring. So then you want to shift into this other reality, but that's not real. That's fake, right? You can't actually shift into another dimension. In addition to that, you have weak imagination powers because you've been externally stimulated your whole life. And so now you're kind of an empty, fragmented being who's miserable.
Don't let these kids know that there's like really bad drugs out there that will literally make you feel and see that you're in another reality.
Wanting to escape this reality isn't bad in and of itself.
It isn't. It's a bad thing. I do it all day. I put my music on and I'm somewhere else for like an hour and a half. I'm making music videos in my head. I'm having scenarios to the songs in my head. I just feel like they're taking a thought process and calling it something so that they can be trending on TikTok. I think it's pretty obvious.
Okay.
Go to the comment section in any video related to reality shifting. The comments will be loaded with questions about shifting. How do you shift? No, like work, like a job. Oh, that's not. Once you experience the real world and an actual shift at a job that makes you cry, you'll be on the office computer updating your resume during a 30-minute break. With peace and love, let's limit our screen times and go outside, me included. We actually have Hogwarts at home. Our brains are actually terrifying. You can literally make yourself believe anything if you try hard enough. And when it's fresh and still squishy, you have to be careful with what you're doing to it. Reality shifting as something you do when you're young, I'd go as far as to say it's pretty normal. It's reassuring to know we still have imaginations and creativity muscles. You know, with all the brain rot, iPad, Cocomelon stuff going around. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
It could be real to an extent. The bad thing that can happen is if you use reality shifting as a permanent form of escapism, that it impacts your daily life. There can be extreme cases like maladaptive daydreaming, which is a mental health issue where a person daydreams excessively, sometimes for hours at a time. More so as a
that's
or negative attempt
a little bit
or adapt to a problem.
I'm caught there a little bit because I find myself tuning out 50% of the day.
Me too.
Yeah, there's a great Buddhist teacher, and he said, when you wash dishes.
Yes.
Because what do? We wash dishes listening to music.
Yes.
Or we wash dishes with YouTube on. But imagine when you wash dishes, you are attentive to the soap being squeezed, the temperature of the water, the smell of the suds, the clank of the dishes, the way the light glances off the glass. It's to be present in the moment. And it seems to me that what is going on is we neither want to be present nor can we shift to the degree that these shifters are talking about. And so that is not a very healthy way to live. To be both present and not present, to be absent and not absent. It's this weird, vague, liminal space that is not really anywhere at all.
Another thing that's really personal that everyone experiences differently. I feel like my version of reality shifting is making up scenarios in my head where I snap back with a witty comeback to that mean retail customer interaction I had back in 2016.
No Chick-fil-A sauce?
If you reality shift or do any fanfiction daydreaming where it doesn't affect your daily life, then by all means, visit as many Harry Potter / Hunger Games universes as you want. Everything in moderation, and let's not blindly believe someone just because they have facts on a K-pop fan cam or speak in an ASMR convincing way. Have a good day, try not to be dumb, and see you in the next one.
So for you, this is basically a scam to get clicks and attention, and there's not a sense of rediscovering the imagination.
I think the branding of it is 100% yes. It's being branded as something. And like you say, disassociating through most of the day is a problem. If you can't reimagine, if you can't imagine yourself in a nice, pleasant thing, that's a problem. But I don't feel like it's something that should be labeled as something that it's not and then put on social media that's making people feel bad about themselves. And this is all social media is. And that is why I'm angry at it. If you disassociate all the time and you want to escape your life, then you need to make a change in your life and maybe go see a therapist and find out what you need to do to make a change in your life so you're not disassociating so much. If you don't have the ability to think about nice things and put yourself in nice scenarios, and maybe you have depression and maybe you should talk to somebody and maybe you should try to do something or meditate, try to meditate so that you can expand your mind and maybe open it up so that you can think of different things and you can actually maybe escape your life every now and then just to get like a fresh, I don't know, a fresh feeling, a good feeling, anything that's going to boost your serotonin. I don't know, but to label it and put it on the internet and say it's something that it's not, just to make people feel bad or special, that's the problem. That's 100% the problem. You're special. You can shift. You're special. You can't shift. Oh, there's something wrong with you, and there's something wrong with me. I can't shift, or I can shift. So I'm special. I'm going to put it on the internet. Like,
And
no.
man, it's probably not great for a lot of people who think that they're broken because they can't shift.
Of course. This is why I don't like it. This is why I'm angry about it.
Okay. How about this? How about instead of shifting, there's merging? Because let's be honest, most of our 3D reality that we inhabit and perceive is massively skewed by our imaginations and opinions. Just in a very basic way, you're like, oh, why did they make that face at me? What are they thinking? What did I do? And then you begin to get, discombobulated, even though you've imposed an imaginary world on reality and then respond to your own delusions. What if there's a positive side to it? What if you say this kind of world that you make, this world that you kind of invented or maybe borrowed and jumped into, why not find a way to make that real?
No.
You want to be a wizard. Find a way in this world that gets you as close as possible to a wizard. You're in school and you have to study and you don't want to, but if you're at Hogwarts, you'd be studying. If you think about in your imagination all of these really like cool friendships and exciting, adventures, form real friendships, try to go out on adventures. Take these imaginary worlds as models of imitation to live out in your life.
Yes.
It might not be as great as you want to at first, but over time, there could be something more. Like, think about it. Would it be nice to go on an adventure? Again, there's resources involved. This is always a problem. But what if you start thinking about your life as, how do I take the steps to, say, travel more?
This is where I think lies the problem.
But it's hard.
Especially with the younger generation, because we didn't grow up with that. But the younger generation, a lot of it's like everything's pass, everything's a participation ribbon. There's no failing, there's no nothing. So if you don't have something or you can't do something, then they're like, well, what the hell? I should be able to do it. I should be able to do it. I should be able to do this. They can do it. I can do it. I can't fail. I've never failed before. And if they feel like they're failing, it's a huge thing. It's not like, oh, well, you can't do this. It's like, oh, well, that's okay. I'll go do something else. Like this, the fact that I cannot shift or do this one thing does not define me. All the things I can do defines me. But because we're supposed to hate ourselves And because there's going to be now people being like, hey, you want to learn how to reality shift? Pay me this money. Hey, buy this book. They're going to market it, and people are feeling bad because they can't shift. And now it's going to become a product. And also, another problem is that no one wants to work for anything anymore. So instead of being like, hey, I should just be able to go to Middle Earth. I should just be able to go to the Shire. It's like, no, you can't go to the Shire, but I also don't want to work to get the money to like travel to New Zealand and like see the Shire. Like I know I can actually go see the Shire, but it's too much work to like make the money to go there and travel. So it's like instead I just want to be able to like go there. Why can't I go there? I should just be able to go there. I'm in the Shire now. I'm in a reality shift. I
Because life's hard.
Life is extremely hard. I know, but I just don't think that maybe this younger generation can't deal with the fact that life is hard or accept the fact that there's going to be hardships in life. So they desperately want to escape, and they're going to label something as escapism to try to sell it to kids and make them feel bad
This
if
is
they can't
why I
do
was
it.
going on at the beginning about reading something you're not interested in.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to do a lot of grind and annoying things to get through those kinds of hoops and traverse those humps to get closer to the imaginary ideal that you want.
Exactly. And this is why I am where I am, because I haven't read things I don't want to read, and I haven't done things I don't want to do, and because I'm constantly reality shifting. So I'm stuck. Don't reality shift all day, kids. Let me tell you, you're going
Don't
to be
be
a
like
reality
Marie.
you're going to be a reality shifting junkie.
Well, that's what they said. It could become almost addicting. And then you
Well, yeah,
get maladaptive daydreaming.
yeah, it's escapism. That's you're just escaping, and then the next day comes, and when can I escape again? And yeah, I mean,
But escapism isn't in itself bad. I mean, you play games to escape. I know
true.
what you're saying. It's excessive escapism that it becomes a detriment to your life.
And it's escapism to the fact where you can't be alone with yourself in silence. It's like
Oh,
I can't just be alone with myself. I need
no.
to escape from this, and I feel like people are desperate to do that because everyone hates themselves.
That's the thing, man. Like the need for distraction and to fill the void of silence. Because when you
Yeah.
have that silence, things appear that you want to avoid.
Yes. Uh-huh.
All sorts of things.
Yeah, like some reality shifting and some escapism isn't good. Like isn't good. You can go to dark places too. Maybe if there's okay, I'm just gonna talk like it's real. If there's people out there who can't shift, take that as a blessing, because maybe you don't want to go there. Maybe you don't want to delve into the darkness. Maybe it's good to just be you and not think about something else or transferred somewhere else, because you could end up in a dark zone. Okay.
Wherever I go, it's always balloons and cotton candy. Okay, well,
It's a circus. It's a circus.
circus.
Okay, got a little heated. I hope I didn't offend anybody. I just don't want people to feel like they're failing if they can't do this thing. And I don't want people to think that it's a brand new thing that you can think about other things and put yourself into a different scenario. And if you can, you don't need to show it to the world. You don't need to spread it around and be like, hey, look at me reality shift on my bed right here and pretend and act like you're Mario. I mean, we can see right through it, people. Thank you for watching this episode. Tell us below what you think about reality shifting. I want to hear everything, even if you're mad at me. If you agree with me, if you agree with Rob, didn't really have a. Rob was just more explaining what it was. He wasn't really giving his. He's a lot nicer. You can find more of our content on our YouTube channel, Not a Strong Start. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter, Not a Strong Start. You can listen to us anywhere you listen to your podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share and comment and all that. And you can follow me on Instagram at Marie Plays It All. Never stop playing. And guess what? We're not stopping yet, because Rob has one more video to show me before we cut.
His view of such things, if available at all, will be in solution in the secondary mythical or mythological world that he has created, but not actually itself. Therefore, it is in no sense an allegory. The double meaning is not present. Escape is a different question. He was there, perhaps more deeply hostile, because escape is used, has often been used as a means of attack on the very conception of fantasy, of the secondary world. And he in a sense, he said, of course it is an escape, if you like, because it's a movement out of the primary world, which isn't such a pleasant place, into a secondary world that may not be very much more pleasant, but it's at any rate very different. And there are terrors as well as beauties in the secondary world. But it is not. He said that his critics had chosen the wrong word. He said they were perhaps maliciously confounding the escape of the prisoner with the flight of the deserter. And why should what he offered, if it is escape, not be the escape of the prisoner, which in other contexts is regarded as a very noble thing to try to do, to get away? But they are twisting it and suggesting that he shouldn't get away. He should stay very firmly in the primary world.
I almost teared up. I don't know why. Am I looking at it wrong? Now I'm paranoid about it. I was looking at it all wrong. I was too mean. I now need to disassociate and go back and go into a happy place.